following program is sponsored by MADE, My Art Design Experience, a walk-in art studio located in Mamaroneck.
Tonight on the Local Live, Mamaroneck town parking fees are going up. The intermunicipal agreement for organic waste is renewed for a 5-year term ending in 2023. 3 local artists join forces for a new exhibition in Larchmont. And tonight, learn about the historical murals coming to Mamaroneck Village on the roundtable discussion. Good evening, everyone. It's Thursday, February 21st. I'm Robert Baez, and welcome to the Local Live. Fees to park in Mamaroneck town lots will increase by $50 to $75 for the 2019 to 2020 term.
So the fee for commuter lot A, which was formerly lot number 1, the daytime permit will be $800. For the meter, which is really a /pay station permit, would be $100. And the area business in Lot B, which was formerly Lot 3, would be $625. The 24-hour parking in a couple of different lots, Lot B, which was formerly Lot 3, Lot D, which was formerly Lot 5, and Lot E, which was formerly Lot 6, would all be $900 for the year. And the 24-hour senior rate in those lots would be $725. And the overnight, Lot C, which was formerly Lot 4, there would be no increase.
And will you remind folks why we are naming them differently?
Yes, well, actually, when we, the Village of Larchmont's lots are numbered almost the same as ours, and so it has over the years become difficult to differentiate between their lot number 1 and our lot number 1. And when we formalized our vehicle and traffic chapter, we thought it was a good opportunity to change them from numbers to letters. So there'll be a little bit of a learning curve, and actually the permits will probably say both of them moving forward, just to lack of confusion. So maybe for a year or so, but hopefully people will get used to it.
Another change for parking, permit holders will no longer be able to print their tags from home. The town is reverting to the original plastic tags, which they consider more efficient for the police department. Mamaroneck Town and Larchmont renewed the agreement allowing them to transport and dispose of organic waste, namely leaves, at Westchester County's facility. The disposal fee per ton will be the same as the previous contract, $17.35, through March 2023. At its next board meeting on February 25th, Mamaroneck Village will formalize its continuation of a similar agreement. Last week, Westchester County Executive George Latimer was at the New York Public Service Commission to raise concerns about Con Edison's proposed moratorium on new natural gas connections in most of Westchester County. In January, Con Edison announced that the moratorium is required because of limits on pipeline capacity and high demand, particularly on the coldest winter days. Latimer pointed to potential impacts on economic development and affordable housing initiatives.
This moratorium would bring to a dead halt our efforts to build affordable housing in Westchester County. We are in the middle of completing an affordable housing study, long needed, long overdue, that no doubt will identify thousands of units of affordable housing that's needed for people in this county where we have a housing crisis. All of that will come to a dead stop. We in the county, the towns, the villages, the school districts, the cities, and the county government itself have no leverage in this. The leverage belongs to you. It's within your power and authority to do what we need you to do, which is to make sure that we have a legitimate voice at the table on this issue. Absent using your regulatory authority this way, should this moratorium go into effect, it will represent a chilling effect.
Con Edison plans to stop accepting applications after March 15th for new connections in Westchester until they can align demand with supply. The Larchmont Police Department alerted the community that a man attempted to lure a young girl into his car and expose himself. The incident occurred in the Cambridge Court area around 7:20 p.m. on February 18th. The child quickly got away. The suspect is described as a white male in his 20s to 30s with dark hair, a goatee, and driving a black 4-door sedan. If you witness anything related to this event, please contact Larchmont Police at 834-1000. The Emlyn Theater and the Mamaroneck Artists Guild are 2 of 45 organizations that will receive funding from the 2018 Arts W Challenge. Each will receive around $5,000. Now in its 12th year, the Arts W Challenge has raised more than $3.6 million in private funding for the arts countywide. And on tonight's roundtable, Mike Witsch will discuss Mamaroneck's historical murals with Gail Boyle from the Mamaroneck Historical Society and Jamie Lynn Weisinger from the Arts Council.
Good evening, I'm Mike Witsch. Welcome to tonight's roundtable. Tonight I'm joined by Jamie Lynn Weisinger, a member of the Mamaroneck Village Arts Council, and Gail Boyle, who's the co-president of the Mamaroneck Historical Society. Welcome.
Hi.
And tonight we're going to talk about the Mamaroneck historical murals. Mamaroneck is no stranger to murals. I remember seeing a few around town years ago, but this is going to be a whole new project. And if I'm correct, the Historical Society and the Arts Council are the co-sponsors of this. And the organization that is providing some of the artists is called SAM, right?
Sam.
Street Art for Mankind. And
Yeah.
we'll talk about them a little bit later in the show. But can you tell me, Jamie, how many murals will there be in total?
I believe there'll be 8 murals. 6 of the murals are going to be from artists that are chosen through Street Art for Mankind, and 2 of the murals are going to be chosen by the Village of Mamaroneck Arts Council. They'll be local artists from the Westchester area.
And briefly, Gail, these will be historical representations? Can you share some of the historical?
Sure. Actually, the 8 murals will be part of an art walk. And so in thinking about what is significant about Mamaroneck today and how that emerged from our history, we generated a long list of possibilities and narrowed it down to 8, because on the art walk it will start down at the harbor. There will be a mural in that area about the initial settlement of Mamaroneck and the coming together with the Native Americans here. And then you'll progress through Mamaroneck to 7 other locations and move through history. So our volunteer fire department and the history of that will be featured. The diversity of our community and all of the many peoples that have come here and made a living.
And the art scene, Mamaroneck was a center of early filmmaking, and I believe the Gish sisters lived here, and D.W. Griffith had a studio in Mamaroneck.
Yeah, that's another big theme, the arts, both the performing and the visual arts. And the Skinny House.
Yes.
As a symbol of the people in our community and the contributions of African Americans and others to making the community what it is today.
So the folks in Larchmont have done this. They've completed, I think, 6 murals. And, well, we've got some video of what happened in Larchmont. There are pictures of the artists at work and the finished product. And the reactions, most people that I read about on Love Larchmont, the Facebook site, most people love it. But there are some objections. Some didn't like the subject matter. Some thought that they didn't like the art itself or the colors. But I think the impression that I liked was one person who wrote in and said, well, that's what art is supposed to do, is to stimulate conversation and emotions and feelings and points of view. Art is subjective. I think it was a woman who said
I did see that, and I thought it was a very good point.
So is Mamaroneck doing something different than Larchmont, or is it virtually the same process?
The process will be the same in that it will be, you'll be able to watch the artists painting the murals. It'll be very similar in that aspect, but kind of a little bit different from what they did in Larchmont. There will be an approval process for the designs that the artists, they'll submit their sketches and their renderings to the mural committee, and it'll be passed through the Village of Mamaroneck Arts Council and the Historical Society as well. So there will be an approval process so that we can better choose what's going on, what's happening, and what will be permanently placed in our community.
So
I just want to add to that, only because people are under the impression that it's the Mamaroneck Historical Society and the Mamaroneck Arts Council. It's actually, it came to us as an interest of a large group of people. There's a lot of energy around it, and the committee is actually many, many community volunteers and people who want to see this project come to fruition.
Well, Mamaroneck has always been very supportive of the arts, from school programs like PACE and the Historical Society and all the artist stores in Mamaroneck and the exhibitions that we see, and LMC TV, I think, is part of the art scene the last 35 or so years.
I agree.
And we're going to be talking more about the street art for mankind and also maybe some of the specific subject areas. And can you reveal any of the locations yet?
I don't know.
Maybe. Okay, but we're going to take a break.
Okay.
We're going to take a quick break.
Sure.
And when we come back, we'll talk more about the mural project in the Village of Mamaroneck. Stay tuned.
Do you need space for a meeting, conference, or presentation? LMC TV has what you need. Our 768 square foot studio space is ideal for many types of productions, readings, recitals, rehearsals, and workshops. The space has video recording capability, as well as daylight temperature lighting, green screen, and stage. 2 additional rooms at 208 and 156 square feet can be used for any of your needs. Auditions, meetings, classes, workshops, one-on-one instructions, and more. Both rooms feature video monitors with Chromecasting capability, making presentations a breeze. To reserve one or more of our spaces, contact Dina Schumacher at 914-381-2002, extension 206, or email dschumacher@lmctv.org.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes, and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Welcome back. We're talking with Gail Boyle from the Mamaroneck Historical Society and Jamie Weisinger of the Made Studio, and also representing the Arts Council. We're talking about the Mamaroneck Mural Project. And when we were on commercial, I asked, where will these giant murals be? Because they're supposed to be on public buildings, in public view. And we're a little premature because the date that you wanted to have these settings set by is the end of February. Right. So what can you tell us so far?
Well, the murals are part of an art walk. So the starting point is at the harbor. And we haven't gotten approval yet for, as far as I know, I'm not on that part of the committee, for the sewage treatment plant.
Okay.
So if not, it will be on a private building nearby. It doesn't have to be on a public building.
Right.
And then from there, you'll progress down Mamaroneck Avenue. And so if there are, if we end up doing 8 murals initially, there'll probably be 3 along Mamaroneck Avenue as we move forward in history.
Right.
And then a couple of buildings on Hoyt. I believe there's one actually, now that I think about it, down a building projected down by the entrance to 95, and then some buildings down in the industrial section.
Now, these are not free to create these murals. What does it cost to put one of these murals up?
I believe we're looking at $4,400 per mural. So we're currently in the fundraising stages of that right now, and there are different levels of sponsorship for businesses in the community. I know that Made is going to be sponsoring a mural. You can be a full sponsor, you can be a co-sponsor, you can be a quarter sponsor, and I believe being a sponsor starts at $1,100.
So are these individuals? Or can anybody be a co-sponsor?
Yeah, anybody can.
Doesn't have to be a store owner.
I don't see why not. And I do know that there will be a PayPal or a GoFundMe for residents to be donating to the project as well.
Down the line, that's what's projected.
We'll get to that, where people can write in to donate or to find out some more.
Exactly.
Gail, you had something you wanted to point out?
Yes, just right now, while we're in the process of setting up the various funding sites, for information on where that is as it evolves, you can reach us at murals, VOM, that's Murals Village of Mamaroneck, VOM, @gmail.com.
Okay, and that's being set up so people can communicate with, I guess, Leon Potok, who's the facilitator of this project, and we have to thank Leon because he helped
Thank you,
bring you
Leon.
two into our studio to talk about this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And he'll funnel the questions or comments or donations or whatever to whoever is handling that part of the project.
It's good to have a contact person.
It is good.
And he's good with details.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So, obviously, if a mural is on the side of your building, it's going to bring people there. And I think it's going to look good for whoever owns the building to have that there. But where else will they be publicized, or where else will a store owner get his or her name up there? I think you're going to have some print materials
Yes.
as
Oh,
well.
yes. So there'll be a plaque that I believe will be put onto the building,
Right.
and it will say who the sponsor of the mural is. And I actually think that if you are a full sponsor, you have a little bit of a say of what the mural is that your name will be on,
Sure.
which is pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so there'll be a placard and there'll be an opening event, and you'll be able to be a part of that opening, grand opening for the mural process.
Right.
And once we do have a website, all of the information of the business will be listed on the website as well.
Okay, we have a viewer question that's come in. I'm going to read it from the camera. It says, how has the planning process been for these murals? Smooth? Is it smooth or complicated? or?
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement.
Yeah.
I remember the initial meeting that I had gone to. I think there were 20 of us in that room that night. There were so many people we couldn't fit around the table. So there are a lot of people in the community that are very excited about the process and just want to know more and want to learn how they can help. So I think based on what I know, it seems like it's been going pretty smoothly. Yeah.
It has a lot of energy to it in
Yes.
terms of people who have come forward to help with the fundraising and to reach out to people that they know might be interested in sponsoring, mainly businesses at this point we're starting with, because the advertising value for them is quite high. I mean, it's also, we're all nonprofits, so it's a tax-deductible donation.
Sure.
For business as well as for individuals. So there's a lot of positive energy going into the work and the planning.
And besides the pizzazz, I'll say, and the color that it adds to the community, there's a story that's told.
That's the good part.
You said, Gail, that it's going to start with the people who lived in Mamaroneck before Columbus.
Yes.
The Indians who lived in this area. And you're going to go through some history of the village and point out some of the things?
Yeah, no, it actually is not just one person or one idea on each mural. We've created kind of a theme around each mural, and how the artist will choose to depict it will be part of the excitement and the controversy and the discussion. And so from the initial founding of Mamaroneck, we'll move into around the time of the Revolution, and so that will include Heathcote Hill. Obviously, it will include James Fenimore Cooper and Caleb Heathcote and the Delancey family, all of the major kind of, I guess maybe the Richbells too, but the people that came together to found our community.
Those are the names of the streets and the avenues that we traverse
That we
all the
see
time.
every
And
day.
a lot of people don't know where those names came from.
Yeah. So that will be exciting. And then we move, as I said, to the Mamaroneck's history of diversity. And the peoples that have come here over time and what they've contributed to who we are. Again, the history of the volunteer fire department, because apparently I learned a new thing. It's a very unique volunteer fire department, so I'm excited to learn about it. And of course, the vision and development of Harbor Island, from this little tiny piece of land to this gem that we all enjoy.
And that's what Mamaroneck Village calls it, our jewel.
Yes, our jewel.
Yeah.
Also, our again, back at the harbor, our place in the yachting and boating and fishing and just our whole orientation towards our water. The art scene, as you mentioned, and the skinny house are the 8 major themes right now.
I'd like to talk about who the artists are. I don't know if you know who the local artists are yet. You're shaking your head, not decided yet. But the international artists who worked in Larchmont and who are chosen by this organization called Street Art for Mankind, and we'll get into that organization too and who they are, and because their founders live in Larchmont now, and they have quite a rich history. They've been around 5 years, and they're international, and we'll talk about that and more when we get back right after these messages. Stay tuned.
LMC TV Media Center is the spot for your next party. Lights, camera, liftoff. The possibilities are endless. Space adventures, video gaming, whatever they imagine, LMC can achieve. Kids of all ages have fun making their own videos in our professional TV studio. LMC TV is the perfect spot for your creative kid to celebrate with friends and make a memory that will last forever in video. Party themes can range depending on their desire. Fun news shows, music videos, stop motion, overall silliness, our cameras can capture it all. Contact us to book a party today.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? But now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Welcome back. We are talking about the Mamaroneck, Village of Mamaroneck mural project, and I'm here with Gail Boyle, who's representing the Historical Society in Mamaroneck, and the Arts Council is represented by Jamie Lynn.
Yeah.
And the organization that I guess inspired this is Street Art for Mankind. And I mentioned before the break that their co-founders live in Larchmont, and they are Audrey and Thibaut Decker, and they founded this organization in 2014, mainly to fight child slave labor. Most of it, as I read on their website, is in India and Bangladesh area, where they say on their website that 152 million children are laboring, 73 million of them in unbearable conditions. The organization has had exhibitions in Paris and Sao Paulo. In Miami, they brought together 35 artists and raised more than $25,000 to fight child slavery. In New York City, there was an interactive art exhibit on January 11th, which was Human Trafficking Awareness Day. They exhibited at the United Nations. They're associated with UNICEF and the International Labor Organization, or ILO, which is dedicated to improving labor conditions and living standards. Now, that's what this organization supports, but we don't know, well, how is any of what's happening in Larchmont or Mamaroneck going directly to that organization, or is it subsequent sales of the artwork that is created, photos, I guess, of the art?
Yes.
Do you know?
I believe what happens is none of the money that's raised by the community goes directly to them. That money is used to fund the muralists and to pay for supplies and lodging, etc. What I do think, the way that they do raise money is through the sales of prints of those murals. And that money is what is then used for Street Art for Mankind to fighting child slavery.
So it's creative visuals and a great cause.
Yeah.
You can't fault that.
No.
The donations from our community, though, also go to setting up an app, which is
we didn't
really,
talk about that yet, but that's an important part.
It's a very important part because, obviously some people will want to have explanations of what the art is on paper, and we also are kind of committed to the Historical Society. I know will help with getting out the information in an actual hand copy. But for those who want to use an app to do it, it's a free download. And the Street Art for Mankind founders, the Deckers, they do all of the setup for the application. But you walk to a mural, and you, after downloading the app, you point your phone, whether it's Android or iPhone, at the mural, and it immediately appears on your phone. You get a full description of who sponsored the businesses and individuals that paid for the app. You get a biography of the artist, who and where that person came from and their work, and then you get a complete description of the history of what goes into it, and the symbolism in the the mural itself, and you get a map of where the other murals are. And there's one other thing. You have a child, a student, or a young person from our community will then give an oral presentation on the artwork.
That's a rich experience. That's just not standing and looking at a representation. It's really understanding how it was made, why this artist did it, and the background of the artist.
Right. And I will say, when Audrey and Thibaut Decker took a group of us on a walking tour on a freezing cold, rainy day to see the six murals in Larchmont, I just was struck by how complex each mural was. And so if someone has not done it with more in-depth information, it is just this like puzzling picture.
Sure.
So the funny part was people kept stopping as we were looking at the murals and asking us, what was it, can we go on the tour? And one guy actually joined us, and people were saying, oh, I saw that up there, but I didn't know what it was. And so the app allows it to have legs long after it's, when it's up there and you've done a tour or somebody sees it, but you can keep using it as it goes by.
So how is the art created? I imagine the wall has got to be prepared somehow, and then it's applied with spray paint?
Basically,
street
yes.
artists? Yeah?
Yes. Well, the artists that they select will be people, I understand, the artists will be doing a project in New York City just before us, and then they will bring them here. So I'm not sure how they select from their group there. The wall is prepared depending on whether it's brick or cement or whatever, and then the artist, most of them spray paint, but also some direct paint.
And how long does a mural last once it's finished?
But it should last about 10 years before people would have to make changes. Not changes, but updates to it.
They'd have to touch it up.
Yes, exactly.
But it's allowed to, the commitment is for a year. So the property owner has to say, I'll leave it up for a year.
Yes.
Great. Another question from a viewer has come in. This is for Gail. It says, what are your thoughts on using art to teach history?
Ooh. Well, as I was just saying in my experience.
You were a teacher.
I was a teacher. But what I found in viewing the murals myself is it raised so many questions that I wanted to know the answers of. And history is, as you know, is a story. And there's many different stories that come together we don't really quite know sometimes exactly what is true. So I like the idea that it provokes questions and makes people want to know more. And so they might want to research more.
It sounds like a great project.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I can't wait to see it.
So again, you're in the money raising phase right now.
Yeah.
And the place to go to inquire about donating is, let's give it again.
Sure.
We'll put it on the screen.
Great. The murals, VOM, at gmail.com.
Okay. And then they'll be contacted. Individuals or businesses or
Correct.
Organizations will be contacted about how they can make a donation. And for additional information, they should go there?
Yes.
Okay. And I also want to mention that there is a website for the street art for mankind, and it's simply called streetartmankind.org, and people can get information about the Deckers and this larger overall organization, and see examples of what kind of art was done in various cities.
Certainly, we invite people to look at the Mamaroneck Historical Society Facebook page or the Mamaroneck Historical Society website. We will be posting updates and information, and certainly we'll have some links up soon.
I said earlier in the conversation that we were a little premature in announcing where we were going to, where the walls were, are. In fact, March 15th next month is the deadline for presenting the initial sketches that the artists have conceived, and then I guess they'll go through some kind of approval process, revision, et cetera, and April 11th is when it will begin, when the artists will start work.
Yeah.
And hopefully the weather will cooperate.
They all work at the same time. That's the part that's really exciting.
Yeah.
Is just to think that that kind of, artistic work will be going on in the community.
There'll be
And
so
they do
much
it.
energy.
They do it in a short time because April
week.
20th is the kickoff event.
Yep. They have 1 week to do it.
Wow. Will the kickoff be in Harbor Island Park?
I think we've planned as far as
The date that it starts.
today.
And
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that also speaks to how many people are involved in this. We don't own the whole project. We only own the pieces that we're involved in, and other people are taking the lead elsewhere.
Okay, well, it sounds like a wonderful project, so thank you for being here, Jamie Lynn and Gail, and for joining us tonight. And we want to thank you folks for watching. And don't forget, next week we have a day in the life of George Latimer. He's our county executive, and a team from LMC TV followed George around, and we're going to play it on cable channel 75, this channel, and also on social media. We're going to play it as it happened in real time. So some of it will start early in the morning. It will continue through the morning and the afternoon and then into the evening. And if you miss it in real time, you'll be able to see the whole thing at 7:00 p.m. next Thursday. And it will include a half-hour follow-up interview with George, who's a very interesting guy and is a very, very busy county executive. We wonder if anybody could keep up with him. There's a story that there are multiple Georges.
Yeah?
Yes, because he seems to be able to show up in every event.
He does.
I do know that it was a very long day for the crew that day.
Will he be in any of the murals? Well, you don't have to say. It might, maybe.
He'll
We
be
don't
there
know.
for the opening.
He'll be there for the opening. We can say that for sure. Well, again, Gail, thank you. Jamie Lynn, thank you. And thanks for watching. But don't go away because there's more of the Local Live coming up right now.
It's time to make your great escape, and heaven knows you need a break. Forget your duties, forget your cares. It's good to get away. So feel the colors, hear the sounds. Let them lift you off the ground. But don't delay, don't hesitate. Don't miss the great escape.
Resonance, the power to evoke enduring images, memories, and emotions, is a new exhibit at the Biz G87 Gallery in Larchmont. This week in the Spotlight, the 3 featured artists spoke to the Local Live about putting the show together on view through April 19th.
The inspiration of the gallery actually came from our son, which is wonderful because I think having ideas from our youth is very important. He thought that artists and entrepreneurs should really have a space in the community, so it was his idea to have something like this in Larchmont, and it started 2 years ago when he was a junior at Mamaroneck High School, and then it has grown. We are really thrilled to be here and to be able to provide this space for the community.
3 of us this year put together this show called Resonance, which is very meaningful to me in terms of the 3 of us pretty much not knowing each other prior to this and trying to set out to find artwork that resonates with one another and that I felt supported the painting that I do. I paint in acrylic with inks, My process is, I always feel like I'm a farmer. Like I plant something and I patiently have to grow it and then I make something. I innately believe that we're all wounded in some way, and I hope to have a dialogue with that and bring out the beauty in those wounds.
My work is really derived from our local landscape. I'm inspired by phenomena such as full moons and summer solstices, but equally inspired by the artificial lighting of our street lamps and our traffic lights. I really hope to capture the moment of each day when our landscape is transformed by light.
The whole process of working with these two women has been incredible. It's been an experience in itself. The communities that I move to, I try and quickly immerse myself in them. And I end up photographing everybody in them very intensely. And it's funny you say you think of yourself as a farmer, because I think of myself as a fisherman. I like to sit on my boat. I like to wait patiently. I like to watch and listen. And then when I see something, mostly it's those small little moments that touch me. And that's when I reel them in and grab them. The series that I chose to show at the gallery in the Resonance exhibit is a series on teenagers. I've been photographing a lot of the sports teams in the community and then going into their family lives. So I have really deep connections with a lot of my subjects.
Resonance has been an extremely wonderful exhibit, and I'm really so thrilled to be working with this artist. When people come in, they're impressed. They said, we can't believe that we have local artists of this caliber of talent, and it just thrills us because that's what we want to do. We want to promote the talent that's here in the community.
Here's what's happening around town. Mamaroneck Village Mayor Tom Murphy will be having office hours at the Regatta at 123 Mamaroneck Avenue every fourth Saturday of the month. The public can meet the mayor this Saturday, February 23rd, from 8:30 to 10:30 a.m. Come learn about the Larchmont Historical Fire Company as they proudly display many of their items and photos at the Mamaroneck Public Library on February 22nd at 9 a.m. This exhibit will run until March 29th. Join the Larchmont Historical Society on Sunday, February 24th for their Prohibition in Larchmont event. Hosted at the Larchmont Tavern, this fun and informative event will feature food, fun, and free admission starting at 4 p.m. A new film class will investigate popular movies that discuss fear, warnings, and possible solutions to an ever-increasing cultural technophobia. The first class will cover the 1993 blockbuster film, Jurassic Park. Sign up for this free discussion on Friday, March 1st at 7 p.m. here at LMC TV. The Town of Mamaroneck Recreation Department and the Acme Mystery Company invites the community for a unique event at their Murder Mystery Dinner. The event is held on Friday, March 22nd at the Senior Center on Boston Post Road. Enjoy a buffet dinner while participating in an interactive theater experience.
LMC Cast. The whole system is fine. All right, cool. I definitely would recommend doing podcasts if you are someone that likes to get something off the chest, or you want to just talk about anything in the world that just might interest you. Podcast here at LMC TV is amazing.
I hope you're listening out there.
Do you have a great idea for a YouTube video or a short film, but don't know how to make it happen? LMC TV has what you need. Our equipment cage is stocked with professional quality cameras, tripods, lighting, sound, cabling, and more. Our 768 square foot studio features a full lighting grid, wraparound green screen, teleprompter, TriCaster, and high definition cameras. To reserve equipment, contact Dina Schumacher at 914-381-2002, extension 206, or email dschumacher@lmctv.org.
This week in sports, the Mamaroneck ice hockey team was deadlocked in a scoreless tie with Clarkstown in the Section 1 Division I quarterfinals. Just seconds into the game's second overtime period, Jack Dela hit pay dirt in the LMC Varsity Sports Play of the Week.
Conley leaves it for Dela. Dela shot. He scores! 29 seconds into double overtime. It's Jack Dela who finally sends us home. A 1-0 win for Mamaroneck over Clarkstown in an instant classic here at the Homicks.
February is Black History Month, and one of our producers told us about a short video titled Letter to Dr. King. It was written and sung by Alistair Mook, a former Larchmont resident. The letter thanks the civil rights leader for the example he set, as well as the struggles that still lie ahead in fighting racism. Mook is now a popular folk singer, and you'll find Dear Dr. King playing on our channel this month in observation of Black history.
We would like to thank local artist Jamie Lynn at Made, an art studio in Mamaroneck, for creating a beautiful community mural. Place your piece in this mural by contributing to LMC TV, the community connection that brings you local board meetings, varsity sports, and your local news. Please contribute to this community mural by going to our website and clicking on Donate. Each contributor will be listed next to the mural when it is complete. We value your appreciation of what we do. Become a single donor or as a group, go to lmctv.org. The only piece missing is you.
Do you have a news tip? Seen anything interesting around town? Is there breaking news in your community? Send your videos, comments, pictures, and tips to the Local Live, your news source of Larchmont and Mamaroneck.
Remember, if you missed Thursday's live broadcast, you can catch replays of the Local Live twice a day on this channel and find story clips on our YouTube channel. Also, be sure to follow us on Facebook to stay up to date on things you may have missed. Next week, LMC TV and the Local Live will be airing a day riding around with Westchester County Executive George Latimer. Be sure to follow us on Facebook for real-time highlights. Next week's episode will feature an exclusive interview with Maura Carlin. Thank you all for watching the Local Live. I'm Robert Byers, and we'll see you next week. Have a good night.
The following program is sponsored by Made, My Art Design Experience, a walk-in art studio located in Mamaroneck. If you are interested in sponsoring this or other programs on LMC TV, contact us for more information.